Hi everybody, welcome back to Rose Lane. This is Judy. I'm back in my bunny journal thing here again, and I came back to well, do a little bit more of these kind of craft alongs. Let's make something beautiful together again. So anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody for their well wishes for my being on the Happiness in Crafting design team, and I'm really looking forward to that. And to all the new subscribers who have come on board, I've had a huge peak the last 36 hours or so, which is really very nice. So I just want to thank everybody new who's coming on board, and everybody who's been here faithfully with me through this last, I don't know, what is it, about 7 months or so. So thank you to all of you. So we're going to get back to this. I came back to my belly band thing because when I left off the other day, or yesterday, for me it was yesterday, I'm not sure when this video is going to go up, I just wasn't quite happy with the paper that I had in for the hidden secret belly band thing that I was doing. This was the paper, so all I did was I took my distress ink, which I usually use the brushed corduroy, and the makeup brush, and I just sort of toned it down. And I did on the back what I did with the other one, which was to ink it, and I used the brush corduroy there as well to kind of make it a little tea-dyed and bring it more in tone with the kind of, you know, distressed looking prints in the kit that I'm using. So that's what I did, and right now what I'm doing is I've got some of this organza ribbon, and I was debating whether or not I want to leave a little tail or not. I think I don't. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off. So I'm just going to come right down here. I'm going to tell you how I actually put this organza ribbon on. But let me just get this cut first and get it out of the way. There we go. I think that's okay. Move this to the side because I'm sure I'm not done with that yet. What I did was I took, because it's sheer, and you have to be careful with the glue, I took my Yoo-Hoo glue stick and I just went down the center pretty liberally, not overly, but pretty liberally, to get it into place. And then I just went along the sides with just tucked it underneath the edge right here with a very, very thin line of the Fabri-Tac. Actually, I think this is the 3-in-1, which I don't see a difference, but some people say they do, but for me it works just as well. I went across the bottom here, and what I did was I made a little loop at the top, so all I did was just fold a little piece under and glue that down, and just so I folded it and brought it this way. So that's what I did with that. So now what I'm going to do is I got a little piece of cheesecloth. I'm not sure what that is. Take that little bit of something out, and this is just tea stained cheesecloth, and I put it down with the tacky glue. I mean with the Yoo-Hoo. I kind of go along with that and put it down that way. Scoop these guys back in there because they get caught in the little runners. So I just put that down like that, and then I use the actually I want to do a little distressing on this. Then I use the 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac, depending on which one I have, and just go ahead and put down the paper, the printout, the digital that I've cut out, the little rose trim, and I just go ahead and glue that with the Fabri-Tac, so that works to keep it down, and it helps to go through the cheesecloth and keep that down as well. So I'm also just lightly touching the white part. When I can, I try to cut out that part, but sometimes it's just a little too much. So I think I'm just going to leave it alone and just sort of tone it down. And I think I'm going to just take this one too and just go over it just a bit to kind of model it up a little bit. And that looks fine to me. So I'm going to do that, and very carefully while I wait for my glue to come down. This is awesome when the bottle's full because it comes right out and there's no problems, but otherwise you have to turn it and you got to wait for the air bubble to go away. Otherwise you squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and not too much comes out. But anyway, all right, so we're doing pretty good there. So let's get this on here. So anyhow, so it's been an exciting 24 hours or 36 hours for me since I put up the little Let's Make Something Beautiful video that I did. And we started with the flowers, which the other one's dried beautifully. It's somewhere in here. But it looks really nice. And I'm going to show you, let's get that on a slant because I don't want it going off. I'm going to show you what I intend to do. I have other things planned for this journal and I'm waiting on them. Of course, you know, mail being what it is, it's going to take a while. And of course, this stuff's coming from China. So that takes a little while too. But I do believe it's left China. It's now just a question of when it's getting here. But it's something that I ran across by accident and it was just perfect for what I wanted to do here. Two things actually, but one in particular. And so they're coming together and I'm waiting on that. So I've got a little bit of playtime here. So anyhow, let's bring this page back. Actually, I still have it. Excuse my old beat up sweater. This sweater has got to be, 20 years old, 25 years old. I'm not sure. But anyway, that looks, and you know what? I want to do something here. What do I want to do? Let's see. I think that's going to be a little too big. Oh, you know what? This would be fun. Let's do this. This would be fun. Let's take a little bit of that as I make a mess all over the place. More things to stick to my clothes as I walk away from the table. And I'm just going to tie this around this eyelash trim. Kind of, it's real soft and bunny-like. So we'll put that there. This doesn't really have to be a loop for any reason. So I'm just going to, it's very hard to tie this stuff because you keep grabbing what you don't want and not what you do want. But anyway, so that's good enough. Wherever it is, I will, did I get it looped on there? I don't know. I'm going to tie it one more time. It's so hard to tell. I do like it, depending on what you're using it for, but I think it's a little too long for what I need. So I'm just going to trim that off. More little fuzzies, yay! But yeah, that looks, I think I like that. And that'll just sort of pop out the top of the piece here. So let's try to get that. This did not tie like I wanted. It did not tie like I wanted. That's because I don't think I tied it. But anyway, as I play, you know, I'm not going to play with this. I'll play with it later. We'll just get another piece and we'll try again. All right. So anyhow, it has been, I was talking about my sweater, but it has been a pretty nice 36 hours or so. First getting the news about the design team, and then having everybody watching this last video that I just put up where we did the flowers and we did, that's better. That one worked better. We did the flowers and we did the this belly band, this hidden belly band. And yeah, I think that's good. And then we'll just tie that back up and that peeks out the top a little bit and that's cute. So there's just been a lot of people and people asking questions, people really enjoying it. I already know that there's at least one, maybe two people who are putting this belly band in journals that they're working on now, which is kind of exciting for me. I really, it just so blesses my heart that there's stuff that I can do within this community that people really enjoy, and they enjoy making them and doing them. I feel I've only been in this community for, like I said, well, I've been kind of hanging around for about almost 2 years now, I guess, but I've only really been active for a little over a year, and that started with swaps. And you know, I enjoyed doing the things that I did, but until I did the trifold tuxedo pocket and people started doing that, I didn't feel like I had contributed much to the community when the community had given so much to me. So I was really excited to see that that took off, and I'm really excited to see that people are thinking that this belly band is another good idea. I'm gonna just glue this a little bit on this side. So I want to give back to a community that's given so much to me, creatively and well, I guess for lack of a better word, well, in a friendship way, in a companionship kind of way. And I know I don't meet anybody, but you kind of can be in touch with everybody through the internet and through these videos. And it's really just, I'm glad to be able to give back. It warms my heart. It just makes me very happy to be able to do that. So that being said, back to my sweater. If you can you see here, I'm going to move this over. Can you see these holes? Isn't that pathetic? But I love this sweater. It is a perfect weight. It's full of holes. It's missing buttons, but it's the perfect wrap around, keep yourself warm, just hanging around the house kind of sweater. And I don't think I'm going to give it up for a while. So anyway, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to try to turn to another page. Oh, this is what I want to show you. This is the other one that we did in the last video. And this is, if you can see it, I think you can see it. I'm just going to lay it here. This is a tea bag that I used. Opened it up. You can see the tea staining in there. But I used I can't remember which ink it was. Hang on a second. I will tell you. It was not that one. It was Picked Raspberry, which I had used to dye a couple of other things, but for this journal they came out just a little too bright. I'll have to use it in something else. But in any case, I dyed the tea bag with that, and I really like the texture of this tea bag. It's kind of fine and just, it's nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it just yet, but I will do it, is I'm going to make this into a pocket, and I'm going to line the back of it with some tracing paper so it gives it some stability, and not so easy that it would tear if you poked at it or something. So that's going to go here, if you can imagine that. And then some of the trim that I am waiting on is going to go across here. So we're going to make this a pocket and put some tags in it. That's what I'm going to do on this side of the page. So that's why this is sitting here. Hopefully within about a week I'll have the trim that I'm looking for. So we're going to go to something. What else do we want to do? I'm just picking pages. I have no clue. So let's go to this one. And I have paper picked out for that, I think, to do something with. I think what I would like to do on here, I think I'm going to do 2 side pockets on this. So let's just, whoops, let me take my pin out of the way here. Put it back in my glue. There we go. And I'm going to move this over. And we're going to look at some side pockets. Now, I have this kind of heavier paper. Honestly, I call this G-Cur paper because she had said she used a certain weight. You know, it's been, I don't know, almost about 1.5 years since I bought it, and I don't have the wrapper anymore. So I'm not really sure what the pound is, but it's a little heavier than regular copy paper. G-Cur paper. That's what I call it. So I'm going to use this to make the pockets that I want. And then I'm just, somebody had asked me what weight paper I use. I just use regular copy paper. I print everything on regular copy paper. And for instance, these are some of the cards that go with the kit. This was a cardstock that I had actually purchased, but sometimes I will use like cereal boxes or something, if the weight isn't too heavy. I don't like them to be really thick and really heavy, because by the time you add the glue and you add the paper and you do whatever you're going to do with them, they start to get pretty bulky. So I try not to add too much weight into all the pieces that I use. But this is just the copy paper, which is this, okay? I printed it on the copy paper. I use the 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac glue because I find that when I put it on and I smooth it out, it doesn't leave ridges like the art glitter glue would leave if I tried to do it. You know, if I tried to glue it down with that, when you hold it a certain way, you can see the glue lines. I find with the 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac glue that is not the case. As it dries, it really dries pretty smoothly, and you really can't feel any real ripples or bumps or anything in it. So that's what I do. So this way, no matter what I want to do with the paper, and I'm explaining to you what I explained to the other lady, is that if I printed these on a sheet and I decided that I just wanted this little bunny, or I just wanted to cut these things out because I wanted to just put it onto something, like to glue it onto another tag or a pocket or something like that, I wouldn't have, if I had printed this on a heavier paper or cardstock, I would have that extra thickness, and I don't necessarily want that. So I just, for me, this just works for me. I just print everything on the regular copy paper, and then if I need it to be a card, I just attach it to a card. In this case, it was glued in the middle, sewed around the edge, and then I went around the very edges between the stitching and the end of the card to make sure nothing lifted up, and that's what I use the art glitter glue to do that. So that's just what I do. But all of these cards were printed, the digitals were printed on copy paper, and then I just attached them to the card. If for some reason, if I'm using recycled something, sometimes you get those. I'm trying to look and see if I have something close by. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here right now, but sometimes you get those little advertisements in the mail and they're printed on both sides. So in a case like that, if I'm going to use that for my card, obviously you want a digital on the back as well, so that you can coffee dye paper, or a digital on the back as well, so that you can write on it. So then that would make it 3 layers thick instead of 2. So anyway, just kind of a little bit about what I do. So I'm going to stick these back in my package here, and this is something, I know everybody talks about the way they store things, and I'm kind of turned away from the camera right now. So let me just show you what I'm doing here, and that is I use these envelopes, and you're probably getting glare on it, so let me kind of try to maybe hold it up. How does that look? That doesn't look too bad. I think you can see it. I use these envelopes for my projects. So anything that I intend to be using as far as the papers or tags or things like that, I put in these envelopes, and I put them to one side so that I can see these are the ones that I'm working on. Anything, and I don't have it yet because I've just been pulling stuff. I have this plastic container, which you're probably also going to get glare on, so I do apologize. Try to hold it against the light. And this, it's actually meant to go like this, sort of like that, but I use it the other way, like this. And any ribbons or laces or charms, if I have charms that I want to use, or specific maybe like edge cutters or something like that that I know that I want to use, can go right in here for the project that I'm working on, and I have a lid on it, and I can also use the tray as well. I was fortunate. Somebody gave me this with homemade cookies in it, so you know, you use anything you can find. So anyway, that way it keeps everything sort of near to me, though I'm still collecting for this, so I have not yet put this together. So that's just sitting over there right now. But anyway, because I still have stuff coming, and I'm still pulling stuff out, trying to decide what it is I want to do. So anyway, so this is what we're going to do. I am going to decide how I want the pocket. Get rid of this part, and this part. And I think I know that I'm going to have, this is, I had sewn, this was the digital coffee dyed on the back, and then I just sewed this piece on to the other side. Again, so there's not a lot of weight, but you know. All right, I think what I want to do is I want to bring it, keep it within the stitching. So let me find my pencil. And my stitching isn't always straight. They tell me that's artistic too, so I'm going to stick with that story. So we'll go there, and then we're going to go up about, how high do I think? How high do I want to go? Let's say about, yeah, I think I kind of like that one. So we're going to go from there to there. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out a good old-fashioned wooden ruler, which I actually had bound up with some other rulers over here, but I'm going to take it out. And the reason why is because I have a lot of plastic rulers, and when I'm working for myself, it's okay. But when I'm filming, because of where the light is, it kind of, I'm going to go to just 4 1/4 because that's just easier to measure here. The light reflects on those plastic rulers, and I think it kind of gets in your way. You know, it sends a lot of glare for you trying to see what it is that I'm actually doing or what I'm actually trying to measure. So, I'm just going to, that looks okay. So I'm going to do my little trick. I just slide my mat over. One day I didn't slide my mat over, and I did this. This is a shame. I love this mat, I really do, but I slit my mat. Can you see that? Isn't that terrible? But I still have it. One of these days I'll get a new one, if I can still get them. I'm not even sure. They come up with so many new things sometimes, and they put the old ones out to pasture, as it were. So, okay, so I've got everything all like just clustered. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this, and I'm going to see, let me put this here. I don't know if this is going to work for me, but we'll see. Let's go this way first. Cut that down, and let's see. Put that over here. If I do this from corner to corner, I think it's going to actually let me do 2 pieces out of the one. It's going to leave me a little strip, but that's okay. So we'll just do that. And then I'm going to turn this one this way, and I'm going to put a little mark where I want to start, right there, and then cut that from corner to corner, or corner to mark, and a little higher. There we go. I think this will be okay. Well, only if you cut it straight. All right. There we go. All right, I'm going to move this over here. I have a little shelf where I keep those papers up. Okay. And back up there. Okay. Let's move this back. And we are going to glue these. And I am going to do them this way so that the patterns are kind of similar. End to end, as it were. So I'm going to take my glue and wait for the glue to come down. I know some people lay it on its side, or they put it upside down in a container. I only use a pin, so putting it upside down in a container might be an issue for me. But even sometimes laying it on its side, I'm a little plugged up here, so let me see if I can pull out something. I don't know, nothing's coming, so let's see what I've got. Come, 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 come. All right, anyway, sometimes I find laying it on its side, when I go back to it, it's oozed out. I think I was using this one. It's oozed out a little bit. And one, it's expensive, and I really don't want to waste it if I don't have to. And two, makes a mess. So, or can make a mess anyway. So we'll do this. And like I said, this is, to me, it just, I don't know. I like the way it looks and feels better. I'm not sure what that is. I get a little fuzzy in there. I don't think it really matters. I'm not sure, you know, what it is exactly, but it really does make a difference. Now, I can also use, really got to find my other bone folder. I like that one better. I can also use, you know, postage stuff, and maybe when I dig in my box over here, I'll pull it out before I start to do a video again, and show you what I would do if I use one of those mailer kind of things. I'm in the US, so it's not a mailer like it is in the UK, but a different kind of like a giant postcard, and it's usually printed on both sides, and so you need to, you know, cover both. But oftentimes I'll just use it for something like this where you're not going to see the back if I'm going to make a pocket or something. Anywhere where you can save a few cents is a good thing, and of course then keep a little bit more into the tradition of it supposedly being a junk journal. Junk journal, my understanding, and see I'm oozing, is, just knocked it over, is using just junk, things that you would otherwise have thrown away, and you just sort of use that to make your stuff for your journals. Make your tags, make your this is one thing about this, it gets staticky. And I'm just going to take my scissors and cut here, because sometimes I'm not always so good with the knife. Now, you know, I'm going to tell you a story, but that being said, I deny this claim, and that is that my family seems to think they need to keep me away from knives for some strange reason. I'm not sure what. Because I cook, and I've cooked for years, and I cook all kinds of stuff, and I handled knives, and I maybe once or twice accidentally cut my finger or something, but hardly anything at all, in truth. And yeah, so anyway, I don't think I'm that dangerous. But when my son was in high school, he took a summer job with a company called Cutco, and I don't know how many people are aware of what Cutco is. It's well, they sell cutlery. Sounds reasonable. And I'm gonna just let me find something I can put. Oh, here we go. Well, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to find something I can ink over so that you're not looking at a blank screen, but I want to try to catch my little bits from this spongy thing, this cosmetic sponge, so that I can get rid of them and not get them all over my table. So anyway, they do cutlery, and it's very expensive, and it's so expensive, as a matter of fact, that at least when he was selling it, and that's I don't know, 15 years ago, something, maybe a little less than that, 12 years ago maybe, when he was selling it, they paid the salespeople by the presentation that they did, and not by necessarily what they sold, but they got a portion of, you know, they got a stipend, I guess it would be, just for doing a presentation, because they're so expensive, not everybody would buy them. They would like to, but not everybody could afford them. So he did a presentation for us, and he did an outstanding job, and there was 3 or 4 of us there, and he's demonstrating the knives and telling you about them and all that kind of stuff. And see those little bits? That's what I'm trying to get rid of. And I went to pick up a knife, And as he's talking, he's telling you about the knives, and he's looking actually across to my husband, and he's telling us about the knives, and then without even hesitating or looking sideways out of his, his eyes, he just reached over and grabbed the knife, and he said, "No, not you," and took it away from me. And they all thought that was funny because they all seem to think that I have an issue with working with knives, which I don't. So I'm not sure where that comes from. But anyway, I will admit I'm not the most coordinated person, but never had an issue with a knife. So, but anyhow, nonetheless, sometimes when I'm using the craft knife, as you saw before, I might cut a little away or a little too close. And when it's something that I'm not going to be able to fix, then I try to just use my scissors if I can. So, and for the sake of trying not to take up too much time here, make sure that I'm gluing the right sides, I will use my scissors where necessary. So anyhow, and now see I've taken off my sweater because I've gotten far too warm. So anyway, we're going to put these on, these pockets, and I haven't gotten to all the tags yet. I did do these other tags, a few that I've shown you just a minute ago. Try to make this get even with the other one, even though you're really not going to see it because there's going to be other pages in here. But okay, and then let's see, what do I think about this guy? What do I think about this guy? If I can find an end, it would be fabulous. Okay. Do I want to go this way? Do I want to go this way? I think I want to go that way. I think I kind of like it peeking over the edge of the pocket. So let's do that. So there are some other tags, though, that I still want to do because I'm going to need bigger things. The biggest tags I have are, well, that one goes sideways, so here we go. The biggest tags I have are about this big, which is nice, but sometimes I like something to go up just a little bit higher. So I'm going to probably do some collaging on some tags yet. And that I don't know where, because I don't know where I'm going to use them. I usually will do that as I create something, as I create a spot for it. Then I'll make a decision on how I want to, what I want to make, how big, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to cut this, if I can, this way on a slant, which these were the wrong scissors for that, and get this here so it kind of goes along with that, and then just bring that down. And here I'm just going along the edge. Let's see if I can show you. I'm going along the edge of the pocket so that the openings are over the flat part of the page rather than over the pocket. So that's what I'm doing there. Let me get the right scissors for this now. And we'll cut this one straight across. And when I do this, because of the nature of the lace, I do like to kind of try to glue those ends down so that they're not sticking out and unraveling as I probably unravel it at the moment. So I try to do that. So we'll do this here, stick that down. Okay, and then we'll get the other guy. I'm going to put this back in his little home here. Look at this little fella. Isn't he just, oh, I love these bunnies. They're so sweet. So sweet. So this essentially comes out to be sort of pink and blue, this journal. But I just, there's lots of roses and rosebuds and bunnies, essentially. So it's, I'm trying to kind of keep with that theme. Spring coming, Easter coming, and, et cetera, et cetera. That it would look, let's go straight across on this guy. I've got a little lip on here, so take that one off. All right, and then I will fix it when I get to the bottom. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call this an Easter themed journal, because I don't, except for Christmas, and yeah, pretty much I guess sort of except for Christmas. I don't think I tend, I mean, like I said, I'm still new to this, so more is still coming. I don't know, but I'm finding out a lot about myself as I go along. And I would think that I don't necessarily do themed stuff, like holiday-wise. Like I said, except for maybe Christmas. But the bunnies, this could be used as a Easter journal if you wanted to do it. I guess probably because Easter, and I love Easter, don't get me wrong, it's really my favorite holiday. But it's one day, sort of, and wrong end. And I don't know. I just think for Christmas, I can see, because you have a lot of build up to Christmas and a lot of family gatherings, and it's a great place to put your memories and things that happened during that holiday, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to try to get this a little more trimmed here so it's a little bit straighter. This one's still too wet. But with Easter, it's sort of just kind of a day. Besides which, if you're really working the holiday from a religious point of view, then you're looking more at something not related to bunnies, if you know what I mean. So, okay, so we have this done, and now I'm going to work on probably a bigger tag and then a bunny tag inside, and I may find something to put on it. I don't know. So we do have that. So that goes back in here. And let's see what else that we have. And I do want to watch my time. There was nothing too exciting about those corner pockets. Oh, I have not a lot of time. So, okay. I think... Trying to decide. Oh, yeah. I know I had something that I wanted to use for that, which was this, I think. And what should I do with this? I don't know. Okay. You know what I think I'm going to do with this? Let me cut down the edges. Just something that I can do that I usually put it in my journals. I'm finding pretty much all the time. And that is one of those envelopes that isn't really an envelope, and it kind of just folds out. So I'm going to try to trim this down quickly and see what I can do with making one of those and perhaps getting a little embellishment on it. I think sometimes I know that there's things that I want to put in the journal. I'm just not quite sure where. And other times I'm looking for something different, so I try to think of different ideas, or I look through photographs I've taken of other people's work, you know, and try to see maybe how they did it, or do my version of what I think they did or could have done, and just sort of go with that. These are the sort of standard simple things that I'm doing right now, but for the next video, which will probably come up on Saturday morning, I'm hoping, the end of this week, which is what is that? I think the 30th, I think, or something like that for me. Okay, I think we're gonna do it about here, and let me try to, I'm gonna need a line. I think this is where I saw a little mark. Yep, that'll work. So I think the next video I'm going to try to get another 4 1/4. I'm going to try to get more stuff together so I know exactly what I want to put where, and we will work on something a little more specific. But again, these are just meant to be, sometimes they're not going to be so spectacular with any real new ideas, but to just sit with somebody and craft along. And I'll tell you, the person that did that for me was Gail, and it was because of her friendly way of things. And again, let me get my stuff and I'll do a little inking. I do want to try. I've got something up here. I like to try to ink on something. What did I do with my brush? Here it is. So that I don't get too much ink anywhere else. And I have this, actually it's tissue paper, but it's craft color. And I have a ton of it. I mean, an absolute ton of it. And I've been using it from time to time. I'll put a sheet of that down and ink on that. So, because the ink doesn't stick to this, so if I don't try to like wipe it away, it'll get on whatever else I'm working on. And sometimes that's okay, but sometimes it's not. So, okay, so for this is what we're gonna do. And we'll see what else we can do to make it, pretty it up a little bit, but I don't want this video to get too long. So we may just do this part and stick it on. I think I'm going to make this into a belly band. The last time I did this, I didn't, but I think this time I will. And again, I'm doing what I don't want to do, right? Okay, let's get my little guy back here with my bits and pieces in it. And so I think that's what I'm going to do, because there's a few ideas that I have of things that I'd like to do, but I kind of have to work them out in some prototypes, which I haven't had the opportunity to do yet. So I think for the rest of this week, like I said, this is Sunday evening for me, but I don't think that this video is going to go up until Wednesday, which would be, I'm trying to, oh, you know what, today's the 24th, so I don't know that I really want to distress this. I mean, you know, tone this down. I think it's fine the way it is, so I'm just going to do the edges. So the 24th, 25th, 26th, so that would be the 27th, and then I think Saturday then would of course be the, I do believe, the 30th, so I don't have a calendar right in front of me, but I do believe that that is the case. So for Saturday's video then, I think I will try to have a bit more of a project, and I'll try to have everything cut and ready to go, just because I think some of these things would take the whole time to put them together and decorate, to take the time to decide and cut and glue and ink, I think would be more than I'd really want to do. So just going to do a little bit more down this way and cover that up, and we're good. And then we do the typical. You fold the ends in. Try to fold it this way, I think would be easier. Try to match the ends, and that more or less, if you match here, see where I'm matching right here, that will more or less give you your point and your middle, which of course I just messed that up, but it will. All right, there we go. There and there. Okay, and then you just fold it depending on how big you want it, and I think I want it a little bit wider, so let's go that way, or deeper I should say. Nope, didn't do it there. A little bit more. Okay, that's one of those little brown fellas. Okay, and then we'll go up like that. That'll be fine. And then fold that down. Okay, and for this one now I got to go around the edges on this side. Even though I'm gluing it down, I'm only going to glue it on the sides because I want it to be like a belly band. So it's going to be like a belly band book or something. I don't know. But anyhow, we'll do this. And yeah, I think that'll be fine. Bring it in just a little bit. That will work. And then we're going to move that out of the way, bring this over. And I do try to match pages that I have, things that I think would go with the tone of the kit that I'm using, because I rarely seem to use any one kit or even any one designer. I tend to mix pieces from the same designer and from other designers. So this main kit that I'm using is My Porch Prints. I'm going to put it right there in the middle. And this is her French Rabbit collection, which is these guys here. I think you've seen. This is the Grandma's Attic, or the Grandma's Attic add-on. This is Artie Mays. These pages, I'm not exactly sure. I think this one comes with the My Porch Prints, Grandma's Attic. So both of those is My Porch Prints. This is Artie Mays. This is somebody's. I'm terrible at this. It could be Adamo Prints. It could be Blossom Paper Art. It might have been somebody else's even. I'll have to go back and see if I can figure out whose they are. Excuse me. Another one of the bunnies. This is also in the French Rabbit kit. This is Artie Mays. Not sure. I think this is a Blossom Paper Art, if I'm not mistaken. This also, here's a rabbit here. This is also from the French Rabbit. This is My Porch Prints again. So yeah, and who knows what else I'm going to pull into these things. I have no clue. But anyway, so okay, so we have this here, and now this is the belly band here. So I'll be making a tag, obviously, to go in here, and I'll find something that I'm going to be able to hold the thing down with. And of course, that opens up like that. As the other ones do. So, but I don't want to hold it here any longer. So there was nothing too spectacular here, just kind of sitting and crafting together and chatting together. And we will catch up again and on Saturday, and I will have another video. Excuse me. And I'll have a little bit more stuff in place for that. So until that time, be blessed, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again. Have a good night. Bye-bye.